Yet another outstanding personality covered in your book is Lord SP Sinha. And speaking about him, you have mentioned in your book, page 133, that he was so well versed with the principles of law that a decided case, which was there in the law book, by referring to it, SP Sinha could, with authority, highlight and bring out whether the case has been rightly decided or not. I'm sure that the viewers would be interested in knowing something about Lord S.P. Sinha.
Again, Lord Sinha was also born the same year as Sir Ashutosh.
Yes.
And interestingly, I have read somewhere that he taught law to to Sir Ashutosh in the law college, though they were born in the same year. Sinha went to England with his brother Satyendra Prasad Sinha and I think Narendra Prasad Sinha, and of course qualified himself as a barrister. He is perhaps one of those whose list of appointments and honors from the British would be extremely great. He was the first he had many firsts to his credit. He was a great lawyer, no doubt, but that was just one part of his personality. You mentioned about his being so familiar with the principles of law. Mr. P.R. Das, himself a very great lawyer, and the younger brother of C.R. Das, mentions this, that as a youngster, they were in the Patna High Court arguing a matter. A judgment of a very distinguished Calcutta judge was put against them, and Justice Atkinson, if I'm not mistaken, of the Patna High Court, was fully taken in by that judgment, both the greatness of the judge and the judgment. And these lawyers, I think it was P.R. Das and then Sarkar, both of them very great lawyers, of course, then very young, found it difficult to distinguish it or say anything against it. It was then that they thought of approaching Lord S.P. Sinha. So S.P. Sinha, they met him and then explained this. That judgment, now that you asked me about the judgment, that judgment of the distinguished Calcutta judge relied in turn on a judgment of Sir George Jessel, Master of the Rolls. And George Jessel is considered in England as perhaps one of the greatest masters of the roll who sat in the 19th century. And Sinha asked them, have you boys read the judgment of George Jessel? Now, this judgment relies on that, but have you seen that judgment? They had to confess they had not. So that judgment was brought, and it seems Sinha said, this judgment, Calcutta judgment, is wrongly decided. I'm sure Sir George Jessel would not have decided it this way. They read the judgment and found that Sir George Jessel's judgment dealt with copyhold, while the case in Patna that they were dealing with was leasehold. One had nothing to do with the other, and the Calcutta judgment perhaps had wrongly relied on that and adopted it. So the battle was easily done. And the reason is Lord Sinha's legal acumen, his grip over first principles, not to be carried away by precedents. So that was the measure of the man, SP Sinha.
It is superb. I would also request you speak a few words about this matter involving Tiger Jackson. Was an incident where Lord Sinha was also in that matter.
Yes.
Yes.
Sinha had joined the Calcutta bar. Tiger Jackson was a very renowned leading lawyer of Calcutta, but known to be very aggressive, not the pick of courtesy as we mentioned about Sir Tej Bahadur Sapru the other day. Jackson would not fall into that class. He was very competent, but could be very brusque and aggressive. So Sinha was for the prosecution and Jackson was defending the accused. And he went on and on talking of he abused the judge, he abused the witness, he abused everyone. talking of his own over 50 years at the bar and his wide experience, etc. etc. Sinha very quietly stood up and began his address saying that certainly I have not been at the bar for 50 years, not even half that time I have not even attained majority in the profession. But this lesson, important lesson I have learned, that it is the first duty of counsel to be courteous to the judge and to be courteous to the litigant. So this was the well-known incident involving Tiger Jackson and Lord Sinha. And Sinha then, as you know, went on to become, he was a member
of
of
the
the,
House of
yes,
Lords.
yes, a member of the House of Lords. Not just that, he was a member of the British cabinet.
Okay.
He was the Under Secretary of State for India in the India office. He was Imperial War Cabinet. He was a minister, and it is as member of the House of Lords and as a minister that it was he who piloted the 1919 Government of India Act
Okay.
bill through the House of Lords,
And
and he became. I'm sorry, you.
yes.
And he was the first to be first Indian to be appointed a governor. He was governor of Bihar and Orissa, I think, in 1925 or around that time. So that was the first time an Indian was appointed to head a province. So Sinha was that also. And when we talk of, we are now in 2025. 1925, the Bar Library Club of Calcutta celebrated its centenary. As you know, the Bar Library Club is a great institution which predates the High Court.
Yes.
The High Court was established in 1862, but of course you had the Supreme Court and the other courts there. And the Bar Library Club goes back to 1825. Of course, the membership was strictly restricted to barristers, and they celebrated their centenary. In fact, last year, Chief Justice Chandrachud went to Calcutta for the bicentenary celebrations of the Bar Library Club.
Yes.
And Lord Sinha had come down from England for the centenary celebrations in 1925, and seems young lawyers, including H.C. Chatterjee, who you know was the father of Somnath Chatterjee, and H.C. Chatterjee and others asked him what he would advise young lawyers. He said, "There's hardly anything that I can say, but if you insist on prescription, the only prescription I can I can give is cool, calculated common sense. That is what has brought Sinha to where he is today." So that was the piece of
Wonderful.
advice.
Wonderful. Interesting that you have made mention in your book that Lord Sinha was a great scholar of Latin as well as Sanskrit.
Sanskrit, yes,
And
yes,
he had read the original scriptures
yes,
in
yes.
Sanskrit.
He was
And that
really
goes
devoted
for
apart
his
from-
scholarship.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much. I'm
Many of
sure.
those, like many of those people of that era, they were equally well versed in the modern and in the classical.
So I'm sure this book with such illuminating contents would benefit the readers. This conversation will continue. Please stay with us. Thank you.
Thank you.